Welcome to the Empowered Women Show. I'm your host, Casey Lightbody, and today's guest is an amazing woman. Marijke Kershaw spent 10 years in FMCG, business development and category management, working in high-level management positions, but in 2013, she made the decision to change careers and to follow her heart. She took the plunge and launched her coaching business, APA Coaching and Consulting, to help people reach their full potential and to encourage women to take an active role in their own development. This is where her true passions lie. She is a passionate advocate in the work for women's development and advancement in the workplace, and she's founded both the 100 Club Network, which focuses on women supporting women to achieve their life goals, and the Power of 10, which is a monthly meetup for women to connect, collaborate and mastermind. Both phenomenal projects. I invited her on the show because she really is a true fit for the community here at Empowered Women Revolution, and it's my absolute pleasure to welcome Marijke Kershaw to the show. Welcome, Marijke.
Thank you, and hello.
Hello. So I'm so glad you're here with us, and we've been working together, and I really wanted to share with our beautiful ladies your journey of entrepreneurship. So I'd like to kind of dive straight in, if that's okay, and really
completely.
go back to the beginning of when you kind of started your journey of entrepreneurship, when that was, and why you decided to kind of eventually follow your passions and take the plunge.
Yeah. As you said, I've worked for 10 years in the FMCG industry, and I realized very early on that it wasn't going to be an area of passion for me, but I really didn't realize that work could be something that you loved. I thought that work was something that you did to pay the bills, and it wasn't really something that you were meant to enjoy. I was very, driven and very ambitious when I was within the FMCG industry, and I was all about climbing the corporate ladder and getting up to the top positions as quickly as I could. And then I was working for a company called Heinz in the UK, and I knew that was not a company that I wanted to work for, but I didn't know what my passions were or what I enjoyed doing. And then thankfully they actually created this program called Game Changing Leadership, and it was all about how do you be a leader and start leading with yourself before you lead others and then lead the business. And in that they had two concepts that really stuck with me, and the first was that success is not up, so you don't have to go up to be successful. So successful is actually enjoying your life, enjoying what you do, and making a contribution, as another way of thinking about success.
Yeah.
They also had this idea that it's about having the right people in the right jobs, and that if you're not enjoying the work that you're doing, if you're not enjoying your job, then there will be a person out there who's better suited. And so actually, and I know this, I'm making it sound a little bit harsh, but what are you doing in that job when you could have a job that fits you better and have someone in that job that's performing better for the company as well? And that really struck a chord with me. And so I was sort of thinking, that's the first time I started thinking, well, what is it that I'm actually good at? And what is it that I want to be doing? Because I know that category development, the area that I was in, which was very detailed, is not my area of expertise and not my thing. And I could be mediocre at that for the rest of my life, or I could be really great at something. And so I really started reading a lot of personal development books, loved Stephen Covey and the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and really just started that personal development journey. So that's when it started to kick in for me.
Lovely. And so when was that, Marijke? It was back in 2013 that you actually took the plunge. But
So that was 2010.
Okay, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I had 3 years of trying to find my way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Until you eventually took the plunge and took the leap into entrepreneurship, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Cool. And so I guess now you've been in the business a couple of years and you've been doing your own thing. What does it really mean to you now to be a business owner and entrepreneur? How does your life look now, and how has that changed? And what does it actually mean to you?
Yeah. To me, it means the first word that comes to my mind is freedom. So freedom to do the things that I'm really good at, and to know that actually this is the stuff that lights my fires, and therefore I can potentially be great at. I think it is also, I feel like I'm making more of a contribution, and I get to work with the people and work with the areas that I feel like will make a difference within the world. And I think that's really important to me. One of my biggest values is contribution, and that is a big one for me in my entrepreneurship journey. So it's heart-centric entrepreneurship for me.
Love it. I love it. That's so important, and that's where the power comes in, is that you really can create a business that's fully designed around your strengths, but also the contribution that you can actually make to other people is so powerful in that journey. I love it. So that's awesome. So as we know, though, entrepreneurship has its ups and its downs, for sure.
Yes, indeed.
So I'd like for you to share, it's not all a bed of roses for all of us, and there are certainly ups and downs and obstacles that are thrown in your way all the time. I'd love for you to share like one distinct kind of obstacle that's really got in your way in your journey. If you could share that and just explain like what that was and really the lead up to what happened, and then share with us kind of what you did to overcome it.
Yeah, that's really hard.
There's so many, I know.
there's so many. There's so many. A distinct moment. For me, it was a mindset moment. So I don't think there have been major obstacles that have been put in my way by other people. Mm-hmm. So there's been major obstacles that have been put in my way, but when I get to the bottom of it, I've put them in front of myself. And that's the big thing. So for me, my first big obstacle was really, can I charge for this?
Wow.
So I love what I do, and I love coaching, and I love training and development. I loved it so much, and I had this mindset that work needed to be hard or something that you didn't like. I was like, this is so easy for me. I love it. How can I charge people for this? How can I actually make money out of doing something that I love? Mm. And that was a huge, huge mindset block for me. So for the first, it really actually stopped me from, in that first few months of being an entrepreneur, from even calling myself an entrepreneur or thinking of myself as a business owner. Because I'd be like, oh, I'll do it by donation, or I'll do this, and actually being able to overcome that mindset and put the stick in the ground and be like, actually, no, this is what I'm worth. And overcoming that mindset was the big part for me. And I think the way I did it was actually working with my own coach.
Okay.
Yeah. And the moment that really, I guess, made me reconsider my mindset and what it was doing for me was when she was like, you have to look after the golden goose. You are now not going to get a salary. Mm. You are the one who is creating the product, and you're the one that is now going to have to market your services. Yeah. And to do that, you need to make sure that you're looking after number one and looking after the golden goose and the person who's going to be providing this income for you. And she's like, the first thing you need to realize is that it's you. There is no one who's going to come in and give you a salary. And that was quite a big eye-opener for me, and being like, right, I am my own golden goose, and I have to look after myself to make sure that I'm in the best mindset to be able to deliver on that, but also that I have to really change my mindset and respect my time and what I'm giving people and the benefit that they're getting out of it as well.
That's right, absolutely. Yeah, that's a huge one, and it's such a common one for women in business. I think is that if you're doing something that you love, it's really difficult to one, charge for it, and secondly, that work's supposed to be hard. So it's interesting that you raised both those points, Marijke. So I guess from that, what have been your lessons learned from that kind of?
I think it's that you always you need to invest in yourself, and you can forget about the fact that you're the one that's creating and developing this. And I think I haven't got to this point yet, but it's going to have to be reviewed when we get employees on board as well, because I think you can give yourself so many things and so many other people and forget that actually you're the person that started it, and you're the person that needs to ensure that you're in that top form and always sharpening your saw, to quote Stephen Covey, but always investing in developing yourself along with your business, because you are that golden goose.
Golden goose, I love it. That's such great advice. It's really, really good. And I think, again, it comes down to when women are just starting out in business, is that oftentimes they're investing in the business, but don't really realize that they are the business, and how important it is to really invest in themselves too.
Yep.
So I think that's a really, really good point. So if we carry on with your journey, then it's kind of, have you got a moment with over the last couple of years that you've really felt you've had that light bulb aha moment, saying, okay, I'm doing what I'm born to do? Like for me, in my business, with my other marketing agency, I work with women and develop marketing strategies. And I'll never forget this one moment where we're doing some one-on-one work, and I was sitting with a woman, and we were really working through her marketing strategy and really her why, her big why, and why she was doing what she was doing. And she actually burst into we dug and dug and dug, and she burst into tears. And I was like, oh my goodness, this has moved her so much, and she's really got to the heart of why she's actually doing it. And that then makes her whole marketing strategy so much more important, because she's really connected with her big why. And for me, that was just so amazing. It was kind of, I love what I'm doing, and this is why I'm doing why I'm doing it. Have you had a similar kind of experience, or a light bulb moment that you've had in your journey so far?
I've had a massive light bulb moment, and I feel you have a day in your life that changes it, and that was actually when I was still at Heinz, and this is when I realised that I couldn't not go out and take this path. And I, as part of the Game Changing Leadership, I got sent on a one-day coaching course to be a better line manager. And, to be quite honest, I had got back at 2 a.m. in the morning from a night out, and had to get up at 6 a.m. in the morning to go to this course. And I rocked up to the course at 8 a.m. And he told me that we were going to be there till 6:30. And at that point, I thought, I'm going to cry. There is no way that I'm going to be able to live through this day. And by the end of it, I actually felt like I'd been struck by lightning. I walked out of the course on air knowing that that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
Wow.
It was just this, it's clicked. I've been doing all this personal development up to that point, and then I went on this one-day coaching course. I'd never heard of coaching before. I was like, this is me. This is what I will be really good at. And I just fell in love with it from that moment.
That's incredible. That's just, you can kind of fine-tune it down to those few moments. It really, really is incredible.
So that would be my big light bulb moment. And then it took me 3 years to actually jump and take the steps to do it full time.
Okay. So I guess that leads me on to another question, actually, is that I haven't been shy to share my journey of how my inner critic and self-doubt has really stopped me in my tracks and held me back a lot from, my own success and things like that. So, what for you specifically, Marijke, what was it that kind of held you back for those 3 years? Was it self-doubt? Was it your inner critic as well? Was it circumstances? What specifically was holding you back from taking the plunge?
I think it was this belief that I needed to upskill. So I had it is this idea of enough. So I'm not good enough. I don't know enough. I'm not going to be financially secure enough. And it's this whole idea of the enoughs. And my self-talk through that 3 years was, I need to change. I'm going to invest time outside of work to make this change. But when it came to actually taking that plunge, it's like, I'm not good enough. I need to learn more, and just was in this complete cycle of learning. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. And I had to break that cycle of I'm not good enough before I could actually, step up and I guess, I call it step into your greatness, but, step into what you're wanting to do.
I love that. So I guess what strategies did you use to break through that kind of limiting belief that enough, I think we all have that voice that doesn't go away, and from what I think is that really successful women are the ones that can deal with it the best and really quieten that voice and have strategies in place that they can quieten and take action regardless of that inner critic. So is that what you did, and kind of what strategies did you employ to overcome it?
Well, actually, first of all, I got my own coach. So I got my own personal development and business coach to help me on that journey, because I knew that was something that I couldn't do on my own. And just have someone else there that challenges the way you're thinking, because when you're thinking it, you believe it's true. It's really hard to actually look at yourself and be like, am I telling myself lies because they feel really true to me right now? So having coach really helped me do that. And then it was just, how do I change? Now I know that what I'm telling myself is a lie, even though it feels really true. How do I go about changing that and getting, I guess, resetting the computer, and getting it to tell me things that are actually beneficial to me. And so that actually just started with action.
Okay.
So taking, I think, so Leah and Naz from Ripple call it taking imperfect action. And so that's where it started, with just, I know my brain is telling me I'm not good enough, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then getting that feedback from other people and feedback from my actions that are saying, actually, Wenmo, you are. There was also a very random thing I did, actually, which seemed to help a lot. And there is this app called Omvana, and they do meditation. And it's free app that you can get on your phone, and they do meditation, but you can also record your voice and put it behind meditation backing tracks. And I repeated over and over for 5 minutes, I am enough, and put it to a backing track of meditation music, and every morning for 5 minutes would listen to myself telling myself that I am enough, and it was amazing. It was amazing. Awesome. In resetting my self-talk, because it's me talking to myself, it's my voice saying I am enough for 5 minutes each morning, and it really worked.
That's phenomenal. I love those little tips like that. It's just thinking outside the box and trying things that will work for you. All the
even when you feel, I was going to say, even when you feel absolutely ridiculous doing it.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. So where to from now? And we've chatted offline, but I'd love for you to share. Where's your vision now? You've got so much on your plate next quarter. But where are you taking Marijke in 2015? What's the vision for you and your business?
Yeah. So for me, it's all about business growth. So I've got a lot of different strings. So my why is really about helping people connect with themselves, connect with others, and really then connect with opportunity. So it's all about connection. It's all about this contribution and helping people live the best lives possible. And so I'm doing that in a number of different ways. So through doing facilitation, actually with third parties. So I'll associate with a company that is bigger than myself, and do facilitation for them on culture change and leadership development and all the areas that I absolutely love working in. So that's one strand. And then the second strand is my coaching business, and that's really around career change or career improvement, and small business area. And then and that's sort of where the 100 Club sits as well.
Right.
And then the third strand is this idea of power of 10 dinners. So working with entrepreneurial ladies to create dinner clubs where they can support each other, and just it's all about exponential growth. So getting awesome women in a room together, plying them with food and alcohol, and then seeing what happens, and really developing, I guess, that area of the business. Because I think one thing that we were talking about before starting this call was just the loneliness that can come from starting something on your own. And no other of my friends before I started on this journey owned their own business, did anything entrepreneurial. So I was the only person in my friend group going on this very lonely path, and had everyone being like, "Oh my God, that's so amazing! You're so brave. You're so courageous for doing this. That's also awesome." And I was like, "That's great, but I'm feeling really shit inside, and I'm feeling really lonely, and no, it's not awesome right now. It's fucking hard." Sorry, just swore. And I don't have anyone around me that can support that. And I didn't find the women groups in Hong Kong, where I'm currently living, to really satisfy that need. So there are a lot of either older women who are really, really set up, or people who had no idea what they wanted to do but knew that they wanted to do something entrepreneurial. So I felt like there was a real gap there, and I wanted to get like-minded women who are already on their journey together to support each other. So I want to develop that and bring it forward.
Just amazing.
Go global.
I love it. That's just amazing. It's just so needed, like we discussed earlier, just so needed. And I think women would just find it of huge value. And plus, that connection face-to-face as well is really important, because it just builds that whole relationship and that trust factor and things like that, So I really love that idea. Plus the food and wine, of course.
Yeah.
So I want to dive into our lightning round now, Marijke, where I've just shoot you a few questions. And the first one that I wanted to ask you was, which woman inspires you the most?
Oh, it's actually really hard.
We've got a few. Hey, I know. I struggle to knuckle it down too.
It's like, oh God, there's so many. There are so many. I've got so many. I'm not sure if I can answer that. So I guess there are two ladies in Hong Kong, so I'll do two of them, and I've met them both through the power of 10 actually. One is, and you should interview them both actually. One is called Emma Reynolds, and she started a design agency here in Hong Kong called E3 Reloaded, and it is all about this idea that work sucks. and that you now need to, and that HR departments need to market to their employees like they market to their customers. And she is absolutely owning it in Hong Kong, and her business is going from strength to strength. I think mainly because of that amazing messaging and this idea of just getting employers to care about the people working for them and communicating them with them in a really lovely way. So I think just her energy, and also another coach here in Hong Kong called Willow O'Brien, who's also she's just a badass entrepreneur and has been for the last 15 years, and I've got to know her over the power of 10, so just over the last month. But I think it's the reason why I find them so inspiring is because they are, 5 years ahead of me, and I can see where I'm going, and they really inspire me to reach where they are.
Love it. So they're shining the light for you, right?
Yeah, they are. They are at the moment.
That's
so
awesome.
I thought I'd go really local rather than being like,
Oprah. I love those. That's really amazing.
It's that they're obtainable.
That's right. Right. And every woman is. Yeah, that's right. And like my motto says, no woman should fall short of their potential for success. And I love celebrating all women because I really believe that there's potential in everybody. So I love that you went local. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess now with so that's kind of shining the light on the successful woman, but we all know that there's so many challenges. We've come so far in women's leadership and entrepreneurship, but there are so many challenges ahead of us too. So what do you think are the kind of challenges that our future generation of women are going to have to overcome in the future, as opposed to what we're dealing with currently? And sorry, to that point as well, what are the barriers? I mean, again, we've come so far in terms of women's leadership ourselves, breaking the glass ceiling, and we're getting there. But I guess what are the barriers now, as opposed, and then if you could answer that first, probably, and then go into what are the challenges and obstacles that women in the future are going to face as well? I
think it's support. So it would be barriers and challenges. Yeah, okay. Mindset first.
Yeah.
And then support. And that's support from each other. And also support from our partners and from the men in our lives. And I think this goes for corporate women as well as entrepreneurial ladies. So it's knowing that it's a hard road to go it alone, and that there actually is a massive part for the male population to play in just realizing that there's these differences there. And I go back to the corporate world, but the corporate world is set up for men and the way men think, and I think the entrepreneurial world, you can create it the way you want it, but you still need that support of the men in your life, because the work that you're going to do is really hard and can take a lot more of your time than if you had a 9-to-5 job. And for them to support you through the roller coaster that you go through is I think a slight change that needs to happen.
That's very true. And you mentioned you touched on mindset too.
Yes.
And I think for women specifically, we are very nurturing and giving and that, naturally. So I think to really kind of stand out and find your voice and put your hand up and put yourself out there, it doesn't come as naturally to women, I wouldn't say. So that's a good point that you make, actually.
And there is one thing that I think needs to change or needs to be improved from a woman's perspective, and that's, I call it the asking muscle. So asking for help, asking other people for their opinions, just flexing the asking muscle, because the more you use it, the more comfortable you get with it. and the stronger it becomes, and not feeling like I think we're, as women, really good at giving, and we love giving and we're good at it, but we're not very good at asking. And so really working on how do you ask, and stand your ground if someone says no.
That's right, exactly. And and that's to the point too, is really asking for what you want, because people they can't read your minds.
Yeah,
You've really got to be
absolutely.
clear and ask what you want, ask for what you want. It's a really good point. Yeah, I love that. So my final question to wrap up is, what is your favorite business quote and why?
I think I always bastardize quotes, so I'm sorry if I get this wrong. But it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite business quote. It's my favorite quote, and that's I guess there's two important days in your life, and that's the day you're born and the day you find out why, which is by Mark Twain, and that for me, is something that drives what I do, because I think when you find out why you were put on this earth, or have that purpose, then a whole nother layer of richness gets added to your life.
Absolutely. And to that point too, I think it can come at any time, Marijke, it just really is, when is that day going to come? Because I think it's there for everybody as well.
Absolutely. And I think you need to look for it. I don't think sitting back and waiting for it's the right course of action. I don't think if I'd done all the personal development before the day that I went on the coaching course that I would have known that was my why. But it it builds up to that moment where you have your realization. But there is a lot of hard work that goes in before that. But it's there for everyone.
Absolutely, 100% agree with you. Marijke, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for your time. Now, where can all your goodness be found online?
So online it is at apacoaching.com, and then I've also got a Facebook group called the 100 Club as well. So I think if you put into Facebook the 100 Club, women supporting women to achieve, then you can join that group. Fantastic. More the merrier.
I'll put the links in the show notes.
Brilliant. And then just APA Coaching is my personal website.
Fantastic. Well, it's been an absolute honour and privilege to interview you. Thank you so much for your time today. The advice and tips has been invaluable, and I wish you all the very best for your wedding and your move next year.
So the next 3 months involves developing this business, or my businesses, a wedding and a move to Dubai.
So a full-on quarter, that's for sure.
That's really exciting. Thank you, Casey.
Thanks so much. Take care.
Cheers. Bye.